On the morning of June 30th, 1908, something happened in Siberia that remains one of the most mysterious and unexplained events in human history. In a remote region of the Siberian wilderness, far from cities, roads, or any form of modern civilization, an explosion occurred in the sky with such force that its effects were felt hundreds of miles away. And the strangest part is not the scale of the destruction, but the fact that after the explosion, there was no crater and almost no trace of the object itself. Imagine an ordinary morning in the taiga. Silence, stillness, the quiet rhythm of nature, and then suddenly, a blinding flash appears in the sky, so bright that people later described it as a second sun. A few seconds later, a powerful shockwave arrives, deep, heavy, overwhelming. Not just a sound, but a pressure you can feel in your body. The blast wave tears through the forest, flattening trees, shattering windows in villages dozens, even hundreds of miles away, knocking people off their feet, while animals panic and flee. In some settlements, people thought it was an earthquake or even the beginning of a war, and witnesses later reported feeling intense heat, as if they were standing near a massive fire, even though the source was far away. Modern estimates suggest that the energy of this explosion was between 10 and 15 megatons. To put that into perspective, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima was roughly 1,000 times weaker. And all of this happened without warning, in a place where almost no one lived. And if something like this were to occur over a major city today, the consequences would be catastrophic. When researchers finally reached the site years later, what they found looked almost unreal. Over 2,000 square kilometers of forest had been destroyed, and an estimated 80 million trees had been knocked down. But what stood out the most was how they fell. They were not scattered randomly. Instead, they formed a nearly perfect radial pattern, lying outward from a central point, as if a massive force had exploded in midair and pushed everything away with precise symmetry. This immediately suggested that the explosion occurred in the air, not on impact with the ground. But that leads to the central question: where is the crater? With that level of energy, there should have been a massive impact site, something obvious and unmistakable. But there isn't one. It was searched for over decades, through multiple expeditions and modern analysis, and the result remained the same. No crater was ever found. This suggests that the object either completely disintegrated in the atmosphere, or it was something that did not leave behind conventional traces. The leading scientific explanation is an airburst, the mid-air explosion of a cosmic object. Most likely, an asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere at an extreme speed, began to break apart due to intense pressure and heat, and at a certain point, it exploded at an altitude of roughly 5 to 10 kilometers. The energy was released almost instantly, sending a shockwave downward and outward, destroying everything below. This explanation makes sense, but it does not answer everything, because after events like this, you would normally expect to find fragments, pieces of rock or metal that could be studied. In the case of Tunguska, researchers found only microscopic particles, traces of cosmic dust embedded in the soil, with no large fragments discovered. And that is one of the most unusual aspects of the entire event. There is another detail that draws attention. At the very center of the blast zone, some trees were still standing. They were scorched, stripped of branches, heavily damaged, but not knocked down. This suggests that the force came from above, passing through them vertically rather than pushing them sideways. This pattern is consistent with an airburst, but at this scale, it still raises questions. After the explosion, other strange phenomena were observed. For several nights, the sky over parts of Europe and Russia glowed, bright enough that people could read newspapers at night without artificial light. This is believed to be caused by a massive amount of particles being thrown into the upper atmosphere, reflecting sunlight. However, the intensity of this effect was unusually high, even for an event of this magnitude. Magnetic anomalies were also recorded. Instruments detected disturbances similar to those associated with powerful energy releases, and this occurred in the early 20th century, long before humans had the technology to produce anything comparable. Another important detail is the delay in scientific investigation. The first major expedition did not reach the site until 1927, nearly 20 years after the event. By that time, many of the original traces had already disappeared. The landscape had changed, and critical evidence may have been lost forever. This means that the most important clues could have existed only in the first years after the explosion, before any detailed study began. Eyewitness accounts add even more uncertainty. Some described a fiery ball moving across the sky, while others reported a glowing, elongated object. There were even claims that more than one object was seen. Some witnesses mentioned hearing a strange humming or whistling sound before the explosion. These accounts do not fully match, which makes reconstructing the exact sequence of events extremely difficult. There is also an unusual detail related to animal behavior. According to some reports, animals in the region became restless hours before the explosion. They abandoned their usual areas and showed signs of agitation. Such reactions are sometimes linked to atmospheric or electromagnetic changes, but there is no definitive explanation. Today, there are several main theories. The most widely accepted is a stony asteroid that exploded in the atmosphere, which explains the blast pattern and the direction of the fallen trees. However, it does not explain the absence of large fragments. Another theory suggests an icy comet, which could have completely vaporized during the explosion. This explains the lack of debris, but raises another question. How could an object made mostly of ice produce such an immense explosion? There are also other hypotheses, including natural processes such as underground gas releases, but they do not explain the luminous object in the sky or the eyewitness reports. Some researchers consider rare cosmic phenomena, events that occur extremely infrequently and are not yet fully understood. But none of these theories provide a complete answer, and that is what makes the Tunguska event so unique. We know that a massive explosion occurred. We see the damage. We have eyewitness accounts and physical evidence, but we still cannot say with certainty what caused it. Now imagine something like this happening today, over a modern city. No warning, no time to react, a single flash, one shockwave, and everything changes in seconds. But the story does not end there. As science advanced, new studies were conducted. Researchers analyzed soil samples, examined microscopic particles, and attempted to reconstruct the trajectory of the object. Some data suggest that the object entered the atmosphere at a specific angle, which could explain the asymmetry in certain areas of destruction. Traces of elements commonly found in cosmic bodies were also discovered. This supports the idea of a cosmic origin, but still does not provide a complete explanation. There is also a hypothesis that the object may have fragmented multiple times before the main explosion, creating a series of shock waves. This could explain the differences in eyewitness reports, but this remains a theory without definitive proof. Over time, technology improved, and analytical methods became more precise. Yet even modern research has not produced a final answer. The Tunguska event remains an open question, and perhaps that is what makes it so important. It is a reminder that even today, humanity does not fully understand the forces that exist around it. We can study, analyze, and build models, but there are events that remain beyond complete understanding. And the central question still remains. Was this a rare natural phenomenon that we are close to explaining, or was it something that lies beyond the limits of our current knowledge?